put my hands up. And next thing you know, he said, "Bow! Bow!" Hit me with the gun like 4 or 5 times in my face. As you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but I had to have like 8 stitches right here. My lip was busted. This right here was busted open. Blood was everywhere. I'm trying to get away from this because I'm f***ed up right now. I'm crawling under a car and he's pulling me up from the car. I'm trying to get away from him. JJ breaks it apart, breaks us up. So then I get in the van. JJ gets in the van. He drives off to this store. He's like, "Yo, man, call the cops." Now taking heat, I'm no thug. I ain't no, you know, no big man and no shit like that. Like, really, I've never been in no shootouts or no shit like that. I've shot, but I've never been in no shootouts. I don't know anything about that shit, you know. So I'm more of a fighter, you know. With me, then I'm gonna put up them hands, you know what I'm saying? So that getting pistol whipped was some new shit to me, you know. I'm bleeding blood everywhere. So, you know, he told me to call the cops. I wind up calling. That's the first time I ever call the cops ever. Cops come, they fill out a report or whatever. They go to his house, they collect some guns and shit. I go to the hospital, I get stitched up, I go back home. The dude that I was cool with named eBay, I told him about this shit. He was like, "Yo, we gonna go get it," right? I said, "You know what we gonna do?" I played it smart. I always think about what the fuck, you know. I plan shit out. I've always been a thinker, you know what I'm saying? I'm a hothead sometimes, but most of the time I think. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna fill out one of them order of protection reports or whatever that shit is. And throughout the time, I'm just gonna keep on going and filing it and telling the, you know. And then one day I'm gonna get a gun and I'm gonna shoot him. And I'm gonna claim self-defense. And I'm gonna make sure I kill his ass. That was my thought process. I'm not no thug or no shit like that, but it just hurt me that this mother beat the shit out of me with a goddamn gun. So, that was the plan. eBay was like, "Yo, man, we can go to his job," because I knew we work at. He was like, "Yo, we can go up to his job and shit and just beat his ass like with baseball bats and shit." And I was like, "Man, you know this." He got people, I'm in his town. So the first thing I did is I moved out. I moved out of the apartment complex that we were in. Then after that, a week later, eBay got shot 3 times. And he survived. He was in the hospital and shit. And then, it had to be about 2 more weeks. The police caught up with me and was like, they want me to testify or say or do something in court because the guy that pistol with me shot a cab driver. So I don't know what happened after that situation. I never seen the dude again, you know, and I went back to my regular life, you know. So here I am. I'm still hustling. I'm still, you know, doing my thing. Me and JJ, we've had a falling out because he claimed that they have a gun, but when he separated us, I seen him put the gun back in his pocket. So he claimed that they have a gun, but I'm like, do you see my face? Didn't you see my face? How can somebody beat somebody that bad? My whole face, this whole shit right here was busted open, and I was bleeding so bad till it was ridiculous. So we had a falling out. I thought that he should have jumped in and he should have helped me, whatever. He felt as though that he didn't have to or whatever. Whatever. So he wound up moving out of Greensboro and moving to California. I say that because later on I'm gonna tell you who he became. So I'm still in Greensboro. I'm hustling. The Y2K thing is about to happen. It's about to be, the Y2K situation. So I wind up stockpiling water, canned goods, all types of shit. And, I'm waiting. It's December the 31st, 1999. It's 11:59 at night. And I'm like, 12 o'clock, boom. And nothing happens. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. So I keep on continue hustling, whatever have you. So a couple years pass by, and lo and behold, I get a phone call. Dr. York got arrested. So I'm like, what the f*** he get arrested for? They like, yo man, they saying that he touched some kids or some shit. I was like, man, that can't be true. I know he, no, I'm gonna tell you exactly what I said. I said, that can't be true that he touched some little kids. But I think he did with some 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds. Yeah, I always felt like he was with like young girls, but not like little girls and little boys and shit like that. And the nigga I was talking to, he was Nuwaubian. He got pissed off. He was like, how you gonna say that about the master teacher, this and that and so forth? I always felt a certain way about Dr. York, man. I always felt a certain way. I always felt as though that he wasn't as righteous as people said that he was. You know what I'm saying? He would say shit like, I come from another galaxy where, your laws and the way that your cultures and traditions, the way that y'all carry things and do things and shit, we don't do that. So it's kind of like, when I used to hear it, I would be like, man, that's like an outlet stating that he does things that we may not necessarily agree with. You know what I'm saying? So he got arrested, and I'm not gonna lie, man, I was kind of happy, because I was like, damn, I still thought he was the master teacher. I still thought he was one of the 24 elders, the Anunnakis and all the rest of that shit, and the man from Planet Risk. But I felt like, yo man, he's in jail. That means I get to do whatever I want to do in life. Because being a Nuwaubian, it was all about control. It was all about control, coming from the bookstore and the W, and going to other bookstores and seeing how things were ran. It was all about control. And when he got locked up, I was like, man, I know I'm done. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm done. Like, at least, like, I still believe, I still accept the doctrine and shit, but for the most part, nobody can't control me anymore. So the girl I was seeing, we had a little falling out and shit like that, and the time was up. The time was up. So, I stayed with her for a couple of weeks. Maceo, I don't know if you remember him, the one that I lived with. It was him and his sister. Maceo used to come back and forth, to Greensboro. He was living in Trenton at the time. No, excuse me, Teaneck at the time, New Jersey. And he would come back and forth. And my girl, like I said, I still stayed there for like, I ain't gonna say a couple weeks. I stayed there for a couple months. And, I slowed down selling the bootleg movies. Her ex-boyfriend had to hook up with some damn clothes like Rockefeller, Kids, Sesame Street, like kids clothes and shit like that. So they were like sample clothes. So they had like little, cuts in them so that you wouldn't be able to resell them. This motherfucker would send me boxes of shit. Like, I was cool with him. He used to call the house and all that shit. He used to send me boxes of clothes. And I used to go in the hood and sell children's clothes all day and every day. I was kicking. Like, I had Rockaware, I had fucking Sesame Street, I had all of the shit, Carter's, all of that shit that, the little kids wear, and he was sending me boxes of that shit for free. Now, I know some of y'all may say, damn, you allowed your girlfriend to talk to her ex-boyfriend? He was sending me boxes for free. I'm not lying. I was damn near close to being like, yo, you want to go see him? Shit. Because I was caking the fuck up. But like I said, make the long story short, times got really, really hard, you know, and the bitch was on some shit like, I don't love you anymore and shit like that. And I'm like, what? You know, she's like, but we can still, you know, coexist. We can still share the apartment together and everything like that. I was like, man, that I ain't playing my self. Point blank, period. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, you'll be on some shit like, yo, we can have friends. And then I come home one night, you know, and you in here blowing somebody off. Man, I'm not even with that shit. I'm not playing my. So what I did is Maceo had a little crib in Raleigh, North Carolina. I wound up moving there with him. Now I get down there, I didn't know this had like literally a crib, cause that's how small that shit was, and he had a with him. Now Maceo, man, he plays an important role in these parts to come. Maceo, man, he just was, to me, man, he was kind of like disturbed. Like it wasn't like, I'll give you an example, man. Like I used to tell him, yo, man, brush your teeth. Yo, man, put on some clothes, man. Put some deodorant on. Take a shower. Like this mother, he would always be like, yo, man, you gotta remind me. You a grown ass man. How do I have to fucking remind you to wash your ass? But anyway, he had a spot in Raleigh, and I came down and I helped him run the spot. You know, so here we are, we running this spot, we selling bootleg movies. At that point now, we have DVDs now. You know, DVDs are coming into place. So we got the regular VHS tapes, then we have the DVDs, and then we have the music CDs as well. You know, we making good money, clocking. You know, I'm taking my trips back and forth to New York as usual. I'm partying, I'm enjoying my life, you know, but at the same time, he's a fuck up. Like Maceo's a fuck up. What I'm about to tell you, man, I am not lying. And like I told y'all before, man, this is some real shit. This is no bullshit. I'm not making this shit up. And it's like a lot of Nuwaubians were just not right up here, and you're gonna see that. I have more stories, but let me start off with this dude. So we selling movies and shit like that, and we making money. I'm saving money. You know, my license is revoked, but I'm you know, trying to get my tickets paid and all the rest of that shit. And this nigga decides, Maceo, to sell crack. I come in an apartment one day. Him and this white dude is sitting down on the floor, cutting up crack. I'm like, what the are you doing? I let it go, right? So, he's cutting up the crack. He's going out with the white boy making money, right? And, you know, we slowed down going to New York because Maceo, even though he was dwarfed in the head, he was at least smart enough to start buying burners and shit, towers. So we had our own little, you know, thing going on as far as duplicating DVDs and CDs and all that shit. At one point in time, we even were able to duplicate PlayStation games. And then this store closed down. This guy owned a store and he had a shitload of PlayStation games. And we bought that, official ones. We bought all that shit out. So we at the spot, we're making good money. I just didn't understand why in the this nigga started selling crack. I just didn't understand it. I tried to sit down with, and I'm like, yo, man, check it. You know I got a drinking problem because I did. I was drinking, you know, and I had stopped smoking cigarettes. I know I got a drinking problem. It's not affecting you. It's not like I'm going out and I'm busting niggas over the head and no shit like that. You know, when I would drink, I would get my, you know, my liquor and shit, and I would go outside on the front porch and back porch and listen to music. That's it. I never harmed anybody. I told him, I said, I know I have my vices. I know I may not be perfect, but nigga, why are you selling crack? We're making money. And he's like, cause I'm, and he always used to do shit like this, and nigga, you can't even give me a direct answer. I don't even care. So my thing is, my objective was getting the fuck up out of there, right? So one day, I'm not gonna lie, man, I wasn't doing anything. My license, like I said, my license was revoked, so I couldn't really go anywhere. If I had to, if I was going out, if I were to go out, I would have to have, a friend or somebody that drove, to go out. But anyway, I decided to hang out with him. So he was like, yo, we gonna hang out in the hood. Went to the hood. Lo and behold, this nigga started selling crack. Now, what's so crazy about Maceo is nobody really with him. He was cool with everybody in the hood. Nobody really fucked with him. You know what I mean? Like, if they did him, they could up, because Maceo wasn't right in the head, like I said. Anyway, we sitting in the motherfucking trap house, and I'm sitting here like, man, I gotta get the fuck out of here, because this is, niggas smoking coke and all that shit, and I'm like, man, right? So I go outside, and I'm standing outside, and I'm talking on the phone, right? So I call him from outside. I'm like, yo, man, I'm ready to go, man. He's like, yeah, he always did that stupid shit. It used to piss me off. Okay. Click. He gets off the phone. He comes out, and I'm sitting in the car, right? He brings this fat broad up. Now, the fat broad, she's not like fat, big fat, obese shit. She's like kind of like chubby, right? But she's really cute. He says, yo, what you think about her? I'm like, she alright. Now taking heed, we're still Nuwaubians. What you think about her? I was like, yeah, she alright or whatever, And he's like, well, I'm about to take her back to the crib. I'm like, alright, cool. Take her back to the crib. I'm sitting in the living room. He got the broad in the back. He comes out and says, yo, listen, she wanted 2-piece or some shit that he said, I guess it was crack. She wanted to smoke some crack. I'm like, she said, she ain't got no money. I'm like, what you talking to me for? She's like, well, she give you a blowjob and then you give her $10. Just bring the bitch in here. Oh shit, yo. Alright, came in, did a little thing, and I'm like, yo, what the f-? You doing, like I had to tell, yo, you sloppy with your shit. So I gave her $5, like, yo, man, you ain't even do a good job, nigga. You need to go back to the blowjob school, son, right? She goes back in there with him, and I guess, I don't know whether he did it or what, I don't know. All I know is I went to sleep. Next thing you know, 2 days passed by. She spent the night. And I'm like, nigga, you got her in here for like 2-3 days, nigga. He's like, that stupid shit again. I said, man, you wifing up a crackhead? You might as well move the bitch in. Now, taking heed, I was just joking. This nigga actually moved the bitch in and made the bitch his wife. I'm sitting here saying to myself, you got to be kidding me. You do know that she's slumming. Nah, nigga. You do know that, right? I couldn't believe it. Now, let me tell you something about Maceo. I think Maceo, the W, Show, and H had a gangbang session all together. Now, I know for sure the W, Show, and H, they used to have the gangbang sessions all together too. Now, we're talking about all of us, all of them are Nuwaubians. Gangbang sessions, I'm talking about you get a stripper and you run the choo-choo-choo train on the board. And Show, H told me, which H is the W's brother, H told me some shit. And I was like, And H don't lie on niggas. He was like, and he talked like this. Yeah, man, we took the bitch over, to the house and shit. And it was me, her, the W, and Show. He said, now, this is crazy, but a lot of niggas, specifically Ansars, don't wear condoms. I don't know what it is. A lot of Ansar niggas got a bunch of just like Dr. York. Don't wear condoms. And word was around all of these bookstores was, as long as you were in the organization, part of HTM, you couldn't get AIDS. I'm not lying to you. So, let me get back to the point. He said, yeah, we in there. We took turns. And then, I skeeted in her. And then Show turned around and ate her. I said, are you crazy? So it's not far-fetched. When Maceo said what he said, and he wiped that broad up, it wasn't far-fetched. Because he used to be around them niggas prior to me coming around.